Next up is Articulation, and it's pretty much the same song and dance we've seen before, but there are some changes regarding it, and let's go ahead and talk about it. First of all, the head is on a swivel. However, it is a bit more tight when you get to here. I think it's honestly just because because they use a different mold for the sculpt, it's basically because it's a bit spikier up here and there's a bit of a more it's a much more bigger bulge up here on the shoulder. But once you actually do get around, pink. Yeah, there's pink. That's only just the piece of the mouth in there. It does look like he has up and down movement. Trust me, he does not. That was only exclusive to the Kong Skull Island figure from a few years back, not the Ferocious Kong Skull Island. Here we have swivel hinges at the shoulders, so you can go up about that far, down about that far. You can pretty much rotate all the way around, and can actually kind of shimmy in there. Same thing here. It's a bit more free of a joint. You can rotate in the elbow about that far in, that actually no, a little bit more out, and can rotate all the way around. And you can actually rotate all the way around on this wrist. However, on the Beast glove, it's a little less range. So you can kind of close in about that far, not as much, straighten out about that much, and can still rotate side to side. Because of these gears, you're not going to be able to swivel all the way because of the elbow piece that's right here, so it's a bit more natural. And there is no swivel cut here at the wrist, so don't even try unless you want to break your figure right off. Go right ahead. The seam line. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that they didn't give Kong a waist swivel, considering the fact that both Scar King and why am I forgetting his name? Suko. Come on, you watched the movie, you should know this. But he has nothing. Maybe there is a joint in there, they just glued it for whatever reason. But nope, there is no swivel in there. So I'm a bit confused as to why, but hey, it moves, it's fine. Or well, the figure moves, not the waist. But for the legs, you can kick forward about that far, backwards about that far. So not much range because of the big booty. But you can kind of rotate. Huh. I just noticed this. Mine has a bit of a rocker. I think maybe the socket holding the joint in is a bit too big. So I feel like if I'm gonna pull, I might pull this out. I'll pull out the leg, but I won't try. But the rotation here. So I guess mine has a bit of a extra hip rocker. So mine's on a ball joint. Sucks to be you guys. And features a hinge at the knee, so you can kind of straighten up about pushing it that far and pull in about that far. So there's no feet swivel again, but for posability, again, it's really cool. I dig it. There's not really much else I would have added to it because you can't really move a gauntlet in the same way that how you would with uh, an action figure like this. So kudos to Playmates. So after much consideration, I decided to say screw it and do a comparison with all four of the MonsterVerse Kongs. I might be doing a much more in-depth video of this, but let's just kind of get this summary out of the way. Um, he's obviously not the tallest. That goes to him. However, what I find very interesting is that also just to recap the figures, the original release Kong Skull Island. I have the second release all the way at the bottom shelf. Might sell that one. The obviously the Battle Axe Kong, as I previously mentioned, and the Fighter Jet Kong. I don't have the Antarctic Kong. I don't have the Hong Kong Battle Kong, and I don't have any of the exclusive sets of Godzilla versus Kong. None of those. Because there's really no need to own 1,000 of these figures. That being said, let's just talk about these two in specific. You can obviously tell what I mean when I say that the mold is a bit more sharper this time around. I mean, compare this. Is it focusing? Alright, good. Compare this to this. Look at how much more detail is on the newer one than the old one. And there's actually a visible six pack Granted, it's still visible in this one, but it's so mellow. And also, it doesn't need dry brushing to get away with its finer details because, again, they're much more apparent on this one despite the hard plastic. And you can even see the teeth, again, what I said, whole pieces of plastic, actually somewhat accurate to the movie. I will say again, as far as eye application goes, this one has better ones than this one does, but that's really only a nitpick. Also, I need to address this, the weight difference between the two. This is a hefty figure. Like, this is actually probably gives Mezco a run for their money as far as the heaviest Kong figure goes. And as far as like everything else, he's literally just him, just with a slightly different paint job and closed mouth and a fighter jet. He is whatever he is. Like basically, this is just the comparison. Now, next, let's talk about his accessory, the newly designed heave, which, as you can tell, they got a massive upgrade with the heaves. Its overall sculpt and not really well paint because there is no paint unless this whole silver's paint. It's actually really accurate to the movie, and I don't know if size proportionally it is. Maybe it is, given the fact of how big Mothra is next to it. But this is actually really sick. I love the way that this thing looks. All the like different points here and how it flies in the movie. I kind of wish there was like I just thought of $1 million idea, Playmates. Make bigger heaves like this, but you know those Hot Wheels that change color when you dip them in water? Or those Disney Pixar Cars ones from Mattel? Do the same thing, but with the heaves. Again, they change color in the movie. That's like $1 million idea. And I'd like a bit of royalty and mail every once in a while. But yeah, this is essentially what's on the it's not really much on the bottom. But as far as accessories goes, I think I still like the Kong with battle axe one a bit more because that actually came with a battle axe, which was akin more to the character than a heave is. But just for some more comparisons, here this heave is next to the previous two heaves that we got from Playmates and the radio tower from Godzilla, the radio tower Godzilla. So we have the one from Mecha Godzilla and the one from the Skullcrawler. And as you can see, kind of these two in specific, what a difference in 3 years in continuity because GVK takes place in 2024, and I believe GXK is supposed to take place in 2027. I don't know why they keep skipping years and don't just do the following up a year. Probably because of how long these movies take to make. So, for some size comparisons, here he is next to his other monkey co-stars in the movie, Zuko and Scar King. And I'm just going to say this. Scar King was getting owned by him in the final fight. Like, there's no doubt that Beast Glove really energized him and just beat him to a pulp. He's fodder. Without Shimu, he's absolutely fodder. No, even with Shimu, he's fodder because he needed her help the whole time. And for some more size comparisons, here he is next to his lizard co-stars in the film with Godzilla Evolved, Shimu with Frostbite, and the main character of the movie, Doug, which I'm pretty sure he's still mad about him stealing his meal. And for the last bit of size comparisons, here he is next to the NECA Godzilla 2014, still my all-time favorite figure in the entire collection. Moving the heave over slightly a bit. The Playmates Godzilla 2004 Toho Classic Series 6-inch version. And because I brought him up earlier, the Mezco King Kong of Skull Island, based on the novel. And when I said this guy was heavy and gave Mezco a run for his money, I was wrong. This thing still weighs like a brick. Like, if I compare the weights of both of them, granted, he still has some weight, but the Mezco is just heavier on all accounts. Probably because it's also like the bulkier figure. Granted, in terms of size, they're about the same height. But remember, he's hunched over and he's got like way longer arms and is made of a much harder plastic and is a bit girthier as far as design goes. So Mezco's clearly the champion when it comes to the heaviest Kong in the collection. That is if I don't count the Funko Pop or the 11-inch figures, because I haven't actually weighed those yet. So, what do I overall think of this figure? My final thoughts is really, this thing is worth it. I will say that there's a bit of issues, especially with my QC issues about like the eye placement and how there's an obviously cut waistline, but there's no articulation there, despite the fact that you gave the two other primates in the line, Suko, which is a significantly smaller figure, and Scar King, a significantly thinner figure, both waist joints. Granted, one's a swivel, one's a ball joint, but Kong could have really used that because he does hunch his back, like say when he's like getting his axe ready to like, do some incredible poses, and that's the kind of action you want. But that being said, this Kong is still rather rock solid. And to my knowledge, this is the only 6-inch Kong Beast Glove figure we have on the market right now. Because Monstarts has not made one yet. Hiya Toys most likely is making one, but not revealed it right now. And Bandai, actually no, Bandai has one, but who cares about the Bandai vinyls when you have this, a literal $10 figure that also has this. I might be dunking on Bandai a bit too much, but at least Playmates has a new mold for theirs. Looking at you, Bandai. But you know what? Bandai and Playmates, that's like a whole discussion for another day. But honestly, pick this up. That's what I like about these things. They're super cheap, they're super affordable, easy to make, easy to buy. Go to your Walmart, go to your Target, go to your Toys R Us if your country still has it, because I know it closed down in the US quite some time ago. But apparently, it's making a return. But you're also getting a pretty cool little heave. I will say that should have came with the axe, especially because it says axe on the back of the box. But enough with what I have to say. Now it's your choice. You can buy it, you can skip it, or whatever. That being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Believe in Jesus, accept Him as Lord and Savior today. Spread the gospel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone. God bless.